Standard sizing guides typically focus on a single metric, matching the tool's continuous AC wattage to the inverter's rating. But watch what actually happens when a heavy-duty circular saw spins up and aggressively bites into a thick piece of raw timber. The physical reality of that action demands power in massive, sudden bursts. This high-intensity draw happens in the real world, regardless of what the AC continuous wattage sticker says on the motor housing. Because of this oversight, systems that look perfectly balanced on paper end up failing in the workshop. Inverters flash overload faults, battery connections trip, and in worst cases, wiring melts. Properly powering a workshop requires treating the inverter and tool as a full system engineering problem, rather than a simple AC matching exercise. The actual culprits behind these failures are hidden on the direct current side of your system, specifically transient power surges and the massive, invisible DC current draw they create. To understand why these failures happen, we have to map the exact electrical behavior backward. We will start at the tool, move through the inverter, travel down the cables, and finally analyze the battery itself. Ignoring this complete DC current loop turns a functional off-grid workshop into a severe thermal and electrical hazard. We begin at the end of the line, the power tool itself. Every device has a distinct load profile, which is a curve showing exactly how much power it demands over time. Tools like drills and saws use electric motors, which are highly inductive loads. To overcome physical inertia and start moving, a motor requires a massive, instantaneous magnetic field. This diagram compares a flat resistive load against a sharply spiking inductive load. Generating that initial magnetic field means tools will pull 2 to 5 times their rated power during startup. Look at a standard circular saw. A 1500-watt running load can easily demand a 4500-watt peak the millisecond a trigger is pulled. Arc welders present a different challenge. They create highly erratic, rapidly fluctuating current profiles as the arc forms and breaks. Your inverter relies on internal capacitors to supply this chaotic surge instantly. If the inverter cannot deliver that immediate burst of energy, its continuous wattage rating is completely meaningless. Moving backward from the tool, we reach the inverter. To push that massive AC surge out to the tool, the inverter must pull the equivalent energy directly from the DC side. This diagram shows the system block for the inverter, which relies on the DC current calculation formula. This equation determines exactly how much amperage your battery must physically supply. The Greek letter eta represents inverter efficiency. Inverters lose energy as heat during the conversion process, typically operating between 85 and 95% efficiency. The denominator also includes your battery voltage. Pulling power from a low-voltage 12-volt battery forces a mathematical necessity. A lower voltage requires a proportionately massive increase in amperage to reach a specific wattage. Under a continuous load, a 1000-watt AC tool demands nearly 100 amps of steady DC current from the battery to account for conversion losses. When that same tool starts up, the initial 3000-watt surge instantaneously drives the DC demand up to nearly 300 amps. This invisible 300-amp demand is exactly why seemingly capable inverters abruptly shut down the moment a trigger is pulled.
The system starves on the DC side. That 300-amp DC surge has to travel physically from the battery to the inverter through your copper cables. Electrical current moving through a conductor generates heat. When you force high amperage through undersized copper, that thermal output increases exponentially due to internal resistance. Extreme electrical resistance causes rapid physical destruction. The excess heat quickly overcomes the jacket's thermal rating, melting away the insulation and exposing bare wire. This diagram illustrates a glowing red cross-section of a cable experiencing resistance. The formula V drop equals I times R demonstrates how resistance generates dangerous heat while stripping away the electrical potential arriving at your inverter. As the current variable spikes during a tool's startup surge, the voltage physically arriving at the inverter terminals plummets. This severe wire-induced voltage drop will trigger the inverter's low-voltage protection circuit. The system will crash and shut off, even if your battery is sitting at 100% capacity. The final foundational step of our reverse engineering process is the battery itself, the ultimate source of that initial surge. Different battery chemistries react to severe surge loads in completely different ways. We will look at traditional lead-acid behavior first.
This split screen shows a lead-acid battery on the left. While heavy lead plates can physically dump massive amounts of surge current, their internal voltage sags deeply into the red zone under the strain. This internal voltage sag adds directly to the voltage drop caused by your cables, virtually guaranteeing an inverter shutdown from low voltage. The right side reveals a lithium iron phosphate battery. Lithium chemistry excels here, holding a perfectly stable voltage in the green zone even under a heavy load. However, lithium iron phosphate cells rely on a battery management system, or BMS, to enforce strict operating parameters. The BMS has a hard, non-negotiable amperage limit and will abruptly sever the connection to protect the cells from overcurrent. If you do not verify the specific discharge limits of your BMS, a premium, fully charged lithium battery will instantly cut power and collapse your entire system the exact moment a saw trigger is pulled. We can now view this entire electrical path as a single, connected ecosystem. Safe off-grid design requires sizing every component for the absolute peak transient current, rather than the best-case continuous average. The first design step is oversizing your inverter specifically for surge capacity. You must account for the high starting spike of an inductive motor, or the chaotic demands of a welder. The second step is calculating the exact maximum DC current draw. You have to verify that both the battery's chemical discharge rating and the hard limits of its internal BMS can survive that mathematical spike. Finally, you must utilize heavily oversized cables to minimize resistance, eliminate thermal hazards, and prevent the voltage drops that crash systems. When all three elements are engineered correctly, a heavy power tool will operate smoothly and continuously in a rugged, off-grid workshop and without triggering a single power interruption. Catastrophic electrical failures rarely happen without warning. They show their symptoms in the math first. By reverse engineering the load, you can guarantee a safe, predictable system.